Fulfilling our nation's promise, that is the motto for one U.S. government agency responsible for the accounting of all missing American service members who served in previous wars to be returned home to their loved ones. Our news team from Hawaii visited the agency's facility at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. Mio Acenas has this feature.
And I often get asked in my travels, why do we do this? And isn't it like opening old wounds? On the contrary, this is about bringing closure to the families of the missing. And that is a huge part of our culture. And we find that, I just presided over a funeral a few weeks ago, and we brought home a sailor from World War II, and he had a 96-year-old sister. And I cannot tell you how happy and how thankful she was to have this closure, finally knowing where her brother was and to have him interred back here in the United States.
Located not far from Honolulu's International Airport is a Department of Defense agency with just about 600 military and civilian personnel. However, this small organization carries an enormous yet honorable task of fulfilling America's promise of bringing home the remains of all fallen service members from present and past conflicts. This is the Defense of POW MIA Accounting Agency, or DPAA.
So DPAA has existed for a little over 4 years, but the United States has been doing this mission for about 40 years. And it was taken on as a mission due to families of our missing, especially from the Vietnam War, that worked with our government and our Congress to press us to take on this as a mission to try and account for all of the Americans missing at that time back from the Vietnam War. Back in 2010, the U.S. Congress passed a law that asked the Department of Defense to account for all Americans missing from past conflicts as far back as World War II.
According to DPAA's annual report, 2018 was a record breaker for the agency as it successfully accounted for 203 personnel from past wars, the highest number achieved in 1 year. DPAA attributes this success to the expansion of using technology and science, as well as recent improvements in conducting field operations.
Because we do missions all over the world. We work in Europe, North Africa, Central, South America, all over Asia, and all over the Pacific Islands. And so because we have such a diverse mission set, we have a really strong planning component to the mission with a lot of experts who are very good at planning missions. We also have a pretty impressive logistical capability that includes military airlift, the ability to send teams and equipment to very, very remote corners of the world. And so when we're going to plan a mission, we have some formal processes that happen in the agency to include budgeting, coming up with specific plans, deciding what kind of experts need to be on the ground. Is it mountaineers, or is it going to be divers, or is it going to be a normal team that doesn't have mountaineers or divers? We have to have explosive ordnance personnel to deal with unexploded bombs.
As soon as the remains and other related items are collected and shipped back to Hawaii, John and his team perform thorough examinations, which can be much more painstaking and detailed than what we normally see on TV or in the movies.
We're responsible for the scientific aspects of our mission, and that includes scientific field recoveries, so recovering evidence in the field. It also includes the identification of human remains that are brought into the laboratory, as well as the analysis of material evidence. So that would be like artifacts, airplane wreckage, things of that nature. Well, we consider our lab to specialize in what a lot of people would call residual remains. That is the remnants of what's left after many decades since a person died. So this would be hard tissues such as bones and teeth. It would be the artifacts that are durable that they had on their person. So things like clothing tend not to survive, but buttons survive, belt buckles, boot soles, whereas the upper parts of the boots tend to not survive. So it's these more durable components that are left after many, many years, and our laboratory specializes in getting the most information we can from those more durable components.
DPAA also takes pride in building strong partnerships with other countries. The Admiral even cites one particular country in Southeast Asia as an example for its unwavering support to America's cause.
One of the countries that we do regular operations on is the Philippines. Matter of fact, there are over 8,600 Americans unaccounted for in the Philippines. Matter of fact, that's the most of any country in the world. We do field operations throughout the Philippines. 4 missions this year alone either have already been done or are scheduled to be done. And so our relations with the Defense Ministry in the Philippines is very close and very supportive. That is a very important part of our work throughout the Indo-Pacific region especially. But great relationships and great support. We also not only work with the Philippine government, we also do work with the University of Manila, and partnering with a U.S. university and the University of Manila, doing work with us both throughout most of Luzon and other regions of the Philippines. So that's a very important part of our effort in this part of the world.
In addition, DPAA acknowledges the importance of maintaining constant communications with loved ones who have to wait for months or even years on the whereabouts of their missing heroes.
Well, we have a daunting mission. There's a reason why all of these soldiers are still missing, is because they were difficult to locate or difficult to identify back at the end of the war. But we are putting the best science available against the problem. We're putting a pretty massive logistical capability against the problem. We're getting into very remote regions, high up on mountaintops, on glaciers. We're going under the ocean, and we're doing underwater recoveries, and we're doing a lot to try to resolve as many of these cases as we can, and we do it with a strong sense of urgency. We know that for the families that are waiting, it can't possibly be fast enough, but we do have a strong sense of urgency in what we do.
One of our core missions is to communicate with the families of the missing, veteran service organizations, family support organizations, other government entities. So we do put a lot of effort into providing regular family member updates, where we go visit different cities around the United States each year. And the services have casualty offices that assist us and are part of this effort, and they reach out to next of kin of missing in action in the area where we're going to go do briefings. And family members are able to come and get updates on their fallen and on our program overall. So we can provide them the latest and where we're at in terms of research, how we do a scientific analysis. They can learn about their loved one's case itself specifically. So that is a big part of our outreach to families. We also have a very large web presence. Also opportunities such as this to share our mission and our efforts with audiences is very important to us. We can never get enough information out to the family, so it is a very big part of our mission.
Previous conflicts where these missing individuals served include World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Cold War, Operation Desert Storm, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Additional information about the DPAA is available through the website www.dpaa.mil. At present, there are still tens of thousands still missing, and through the agency, the U.S. government will not stop until all the fallen heroes are found and returned home to their loved ones. Reporting from Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam in Hawaii, I'm Mio Asenas, 1 with 25.